Mr. Som Mittal, former chairman of Nasscom, thank you so much for joining us. Define disruption, what does it mean to you?
Well, there have been technology changes that have happened all the while and have made the way people think. And this one is very unique because there's a confluence of many technologies together. And it's not about technology, it's about what you do with that technology that's actually. So the disruption is coming because the impact it has, not just on business, but a whole lot of other people.
From the point of view of the confluence of technology and the consumer, what are the best examples of disruption?
Well, the big thing that's happened is that every consumer, you and me, are now having what's a smartphone, and we are carrying enormous amount of information, and the empowerment has shifted from business to the consumer, right? So the consumer today determines what he or she buys, what they like, and they don't use customary ways of giving that feedback to you. So I think today the power has shifted clearly to the consumer, and technology has made it happen. So there's just enormous amount of data that's getting thrown up, which if we can use well, right, can be to the advantage.
From a leadership point of view, what do you see are the challenges that will emerge because of this mass scale disruption that is happening?
So the biggest challenge that's coming in is really in the enterprise.
Okay.
Because IT is well embedded, and IT has certain standards to follow. You have to think about cybersecurity. You have to very well think out your architecture. On the other hand, you have this digital movement that's happening, which is very fast and very rapid. So the question is, how do you marry two speeds? You still need that robust infrastructure, robust way of managing, robust processes, robust governance. But on the other hand, if you applied the same thing to digital, you will never get started. So you have to manage a two-speed organization today, which I think is the biggest challenge for companies to manage.
As a leader, do you think there will also be skill-related challenges that people will face?
Well, I don't think it's so much skilled as is mindsets.
Okay.
Because the mindsets have to change. For example, if I come out with a new application, a new way of reaching out to my consumer, do I have to produce the best the first time? Or should I just get started and keep adding as we go? And I think that's the new digital. Now, how do you deal with this kind of situation? So yes, there are some areas where we need more data scientists, et cetera, and analytics, and I don't want to undermine the need for skills, but I think there is more need for change in mindsets. The skills will follow. We have done that in our industry very, very often.
Okay. Technology and digital, what drives what?
Well, I don't know the difference. We've now clubbed everything called digital. Actually, everything behind it is technology, whether it was connectivity, whether it's the cloud, whether it's applications, whether it's big data, right? This is all technology. But the confluence of it is, and the reason we use the word digital is because that's the way the consumer use it. We have to, this new technology confluence has actually demystified technology, because who cares what the technology behind is? It's really what I receive. The experience that I get is digital. Digitally delivered, there's a whole lot of technology behind it. So I don't think there's a difference.
So you're saying they're both the same things, it's just that they've been bifurcated in two for better understanding?
Yeah. So the big change is that we earlier worked about efficiency, effectiveness, and all that, and we are now talking about experience, right? So everything is moved from, not everything, I think we still need efficiency, effectiveness, but today big concern is about how can we give customer a big experience. And I just want to dwell a little bit on this, because earlier we used to put people in rural markets, urban markets, semi-urban markets, upper class, lower class. Now he's saying, hey, don't put me in a category. I'm an individual, treat me, this is my behavior, this is what I like, this is my dislike, this is how I consume. So can you service me as an individual rather than me as a class? And I think that's the big opportunity as well for the companies, because I can now tailor make my offering and give you a very unique experience.
Is it possible to have a plan for digital, and how relevant is a plan?
I think it needs to be a plan, and the plan is about what areas are you going to prioritize, what are you going to, so there are some parts of digital which are at the enterprise level and there are some at the consumer level. So clearly there is a adoption. Now, how structured that plan is, as I mentioned, it's a two-speed organization. If you if you really thought that I'm going to have a plan which is a 3-year plan and all that, I think those dimensions have changed. You've got to have a plan of what I can deliver this week and what am I going to convert this month and this quarter, right? So I think you need plans for that, but it's no longer going to be the old plan where you had a 3-year plan to do something.
So basically, long-term plans are sort of totally out now.
No, that's the caution. The dilemma is that you still need the structured work, which is I spoke about, high governance, etc. Because on one hand you have cyber security issues, you have to protect your
Yes.
clients, your own business, because everything is cyber now, and you have more and more smart people trying to, intervene in your businesses and create those kind of disruptions. And on the other hand, you still need to move at a different pace. So I think both are required, and that's a new paradigm for enterprises to adopt.
Okay, so far technology has been largely used to solve problems that were known. How do you think companies can perhaps solve problems that are unknown?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question, and mainly because this is a completely new opportunity, right? Where it's an unknown, and it is left to our imagination. So, for example, we are moving around and we are creating data, right? And the data is available. How do I use the data? So, if you look at Google Maps, for example, right? How do they know what's happening to traffic? And today we all use it, and that's all happening because they are actually picking up the data that we as commuters, as we move on the roads, are giving out. I am on a bank, and what are the buying patterns, spending patterns, saving patterns of an individual. Now, what do we do with the data? So can I use that data to create a new offering? I think it's a unique opportunity that we have here.
Do you see a lot of companies actually coming out with solutions for unknown problems?
I think so, right? I think there are, when you say unknown, once you have solved it, it becomes known.
Right.
Right? And hence.
So once it is known, you have solved it.
Yeah. So this is really about market creation. With all that's happening in digital space, can you create a new opportunity? Can you make a new experience which will delight a customer? You may call it, is it a problem that you're solving? Or is it raising the expectations of what my consumer can expect of me? Right? And I think that's a big change, right? So one will be, we have problems of healthcare and education and, what are the things that you can do, what can a farmer do? And he doesn't think that there is a solution that's available. And as India gets connected, right, we'll have even more opportunities to think of how the behavior in some of our citizens are and what their expectations and how we can meet it. On the other hand is really, really enhancing customer experience. And I think, or from a government perspective, it will be a citizen experience. Now, citizens don't expect it right now, but once you start offering it, then their bar goes up and then you'll have to do even more there.
All right, one big disruption that you think will happen in 2016?
I don't think they should be talking about one big disruption. I think this year you would see almost all enterprises, right, adopting digital very much. And I think you would see in every company, in fact, particularly if I talk about the IT industry, as service providers, we would not only focus on our immediate customer, but we'll start focusing on our customer's customer, which I think is a big change.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.